Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Neo had a surprise guest pop up on stage at his Japan concert, and it made international news. Well, not because of this surprise guest being some type of major celebrity, but because the surprise guest was really not a guest. He really was not invited on the stage. He just got on stage and started dancing, and it took Neo to escort him off stage. We didn't quite escort him. He kind of pushed him, shoved him by the back of the neck. Now, this is not breaking news, but there is a lesson to be learned here. If you come on stage while he's performing, Neo will whoop your... Fam, what is this phenomenon with people hopping up on stages, like interfering with the shows, attacking performers? Y'all remember when dude popped up at the Hollywood Bowl when Dave Chappelle was on stage? Buddy attacked Dave Chappelle, tackled him. Ain't no way, fam. First and foremost, it's time for these artists to tighten up on security. It's time for these celebrities to tighten up because security is weak all around. This dude got on stage in slow motion, took several steps before he got to Neo. Then turned around, put his hands up. It took Neo to do the job of security to get the dude off stage. Security eventually joined after Neo shoved him, but it took Neo to get dude off of him. This is why I say, fam, when it comes to security, can't nobody guard my body like I can guard my body. When I think about the deaths of Tupac and Biggie, and I think about all them dudes who were around them and they still got killed, all them dudes who were supposed to be on security detail and they still got killed. But these guys always got paid when there was no direct threat. They got paid. As long as there was no real conflict, these dudes was Johnny on the spot, moving people out the way. Move around, we're coming through. You know, they're there, and you know, people are intimidated. Well, at least they're there for the purpose of intimidating people so that they won't, think about doing something. But this is why I say many of these people that's working security for celebrities should not be working security. They're absolutely overpaid. Not because they're qualified and overpaid, but because they're underqualified and overpaid. In fact, they're not even underqualified. Many of these dudes are just not qualified. A lot of these dudes that's working security, they're overweight, they're out of shape, they get drunk, they get high with the artist, with the celebrities, they get high, they get drunk with them. They're on the women more than the celebrity is on the women, or the women is on the celebrity, Yeah, a lot of these dudes, they don't know the first thing about working security. They don't even do sweeps before they walk inside of buildings with their clients for the first time. Many of them are walking inside of the building for the first time when they're walking inside of the building with their client. When you're working security detail, especially with a high-profile client, you're supposed to go in and check things out before the client shows up at the facility. You're supposed to do a sweep. They're gonna go whatever area, especially whatever area they're traveling through. They're going through the back door. It's your job to make sure any doors that are on the way to the door that you're supposed to go into are secured. People, and if that door is swinging, meaning that if somebody has access to that door and they got to come in and out of that door, you need to know exactly who that person is. A lot of these dudes, man, they're not qualified. So Neo could have absolutely gotten his head knocked off. What if that dude would have jumped up on stage with a knife or a gun? Neo, he'd be out of here. Things would have went a lot differently. And here's the thing also. I get it when sometimes people get on stage and they climb up on the stage and interrupt the show. But when people are getting on the stage and interrupting the show while people are singing or whatever, or maybe even rapping, it's not as bad. It's still bad, don't get me wrong. Because nobody paid to come see them, right? But if they're not welcome to the stage, they have no business on that stage. But it's even worse when it's comedy and people inject themselves into the show. Because when it comes to comedy, it's all about following the joke. And you can't follow the joke when you have a joke injecting themselves inside of the joke. Yeah, I don't like that, fam. I'm a real comedy connoisseur. I support comedy for real. Most of the big comedians today, I followed them from the beginning, and I've supported them from the beginning. So I don't appreciate when people interrupt comedy shows. A little heckling, I don't mind. A little heckling, especially when it's good heckling. Like when you got a professional heckler like they used to have in Long Beach, California at Birdland. Birdland was a legendary black comedy club in Long Beach, California. Let me tell you how legendary it was. Imagine going to a comedy club on a Friday night and being able to see a young D.L. Hughley, a young Cedric the Entertainer, a young Ricky Smiley, a young T.K. Kirkland, a young Jamie Foxx, and the list goes on, all on the same stage in one night. Oh man, and the hecklers were legendary themselves. The hecklers were so good, they'd have to eventually tell the hecklers to stop, but not because people wasn't enjoying the show. People were having a ball. Sometimes the hecklers was killing the acts on stage. Yeah. The hecklers at Birdlands could give you a good 5-10 minutes. Strong. Yeah, man, they were strong. Birdland was so legendary that if I wasn't in Houston and had something to do with family, or I wasn't on the road, doing shows, I'd fly to Long Beach and watch comedy at Birdland. That's how legendary it was. But I could take those hecklers. They wasn't coming up on stage. They was just screaming out and saying really, really just hilarious stuff, from the crowd. But these people today are actually stepping up on the stage, interrupting the shows. Do you know, out of all the years I've been performing solo or with the Ghetto Boys, we never had somebody just out of the crowd just jump up on that stage. Not once. But it seems to be a thing these days, and I believe you can attribute that to the advent of the internet and social media. Everybody trying to get that social moment. I would not be surprised if that dude said, went up on that stage on a dare. I'll do it. Well, look here, film me, watch this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Fam, if you're not on the stage, if they don't have your name on the marquee, if people didn't pay to come see you on stage, stay your ass off that stage. No more talk.